So, good day. Welcome back to our discussion about the commercial complex in Barangay Carmen, Silang Cavite. So, for today's discussion, we're gonna tackle about the designing and planning phase of our commercial complex. So, starting with the project summary or project description of our project. The Project Reborn is a commercial complex in Barangay Carmen, Silang Cavite, creating new business venture within the community and serves as node for the economic development of the said community. So, Reborn prioritizes the impact to both users and environment and incorporating of nature and greenery to the development where nature and structure can act as one. With that, we came up with the objectives. So for our objectives, we summarize for the project objectives and for the design objective. So for project objectives, to incorporate the nature and greenery to the development where nature and structure can act as one, to build a commercial complex that is encouraging and boosting the psychological and mental health of the users, and lastly, to build a commercial complex that will heighten the country's economy. So with that project description, we came up with design objective. So for the design objectives, is to use locally available and appropriate materials within the vicinity to properly incorporate nature to the design and function of the building, to design conducive spaces that will enhance the experience of the users inside the premises. And lastly, to be able to build a commercial complex that would greatly affect the efficiency and productivity of the building by considering the orientation, passive cooling, and natural lighting, taking into consideration of ecological impact to the space and the built environment. So in line with our concept, we named our mall as Paseo de Concilio. Concilio came from Latin word meaning connect, and Paseo came from Spanish word meaning passage. So bakit connect? Kasi gusto naming mai-connecta yung user, yung structure and nature sa isang lugar na kung saan yun nga, itong Project Reborn is not just a commercial complex na for leisure, na for fun, but kundi pati na din for a place na kung saan magbe-benefit yung mga users with that massive greenery, massive open spaces. Mafe-feel nila yung pagiging relax, yung pagiging calm nila. So with that, gusto nating mai-connecta na hindi lang itong Project Reborn is not just a commercial complex, but a complex that may benefit din sa psychological and mental impact ng mga users. So, passage. Bakit namin incorporate yung passage sa name ng mall? So, when we say passage, it means walkways or pathways or etc. So, it symbolizes na pinaprioritize lang natin yung mga users by providing a quality footpath na kung saan they are free to use anytime, na kung saan they can jog, they can run, they can walk, na kung saan mafe-feel pa din nila yung presence ng nature, since makikita natin mamaya sa ating walkthrough kung bakit gano'n nga na mafe-feel pa din nila yung impact ng nature. Kasi we made na yung mga walkways is medyo apart dun sa mismong mall, na kung saan medyo tagong part or medyo malayo dun sa crowded area, na kung saan is yun nga magki-create ng private walkways na kung saan mafe-feel nila yung benefit and mafe-feel nila yung nature. Paseo de Concilio is made up of 5 main buildings. So the first one is the leisure building that composed of stalls for leisure and other stuff. Then nandito din yung ating atrium and activity area. Then next building is the movie building that composed of 2 cinemas, composing 500 seats each. And then the supermarket. Next one is the multi-level parking. So this multi-level parking composed of 3 levels. So it sums up of 154 car slots. Then naglagay din kami ng car elevator dito sa ating multi-level parking para mas mabilis yung access nila from ground floor to other floors. Then, last is the retail building. So, retail building is a 4-story na yung ground floor is the department store, and then the second floor up to fourth floor is the retails itself.
The apparent changes on climate and environment resulted into massive loss of resources and natural capital and directly affected how humans live. The humanity continues to operate seemingly without regard for the environment and the future generations that will depend on it. We continue to deplete finite resources and cause irreparable damage to entire ecosystems. If we continue on this trajectory, the situation will eventually snowball and there will be no turning back. Thus, regenerative design is all about thinking ahead, to design with the future in mind every step of the way. Regenerative buildings are designed and operated to reverse damage and have a net positive impact on the environment. The most significant opportunity that regenerative design could offer is to genuinely give sustainable places that offers a pathway to a future where development can give back ecologically. Regenerative design is here to correct the way we treat our one and only home, which is the Mother Earth. We must acknowledge the destruction we have created and take responsibility for shaping a better future. The regenerative design process promotes the pattern of relationships between the physical, built, and natural environment. Regenerative design is not simply about being green or nature-friendly. Regenerative design ensures that it actively contributes and gives back to the ecology from where it came. The term regenerative describes a process of restoring or renewing its own sources of energy and materials, and viewed as design that reconnects humans and nature through the continuous renewal of revolving socio-ecological systems. The goal of regenerative design is to develop restorative systems that are dynamic and emergent and are beneficial for humans. This regeneration process is participatory, iterative, and individual to the community and environment it applies to. This process intends to revitalize communities, human and natural resources, and society as a whole. The nature has provided all the inspirations needed. It is only up to us humans to recognize our flawed priorities and start paving the way for the future, because there is a tomorrow and it is our tomorrow.
For problem statement 1A, what kind of material should be used in the construction to maintain its quality and functions considering the weather around the vicinity? We used wall plants or vertical garden in concrete part of Paseo de Concilio dahil ito ay nagpo-provide ng thermal insulation. Ang purpose nito ay parang safety blanket that protects building from other elements. Ang environmental benefit nito ay nakakatulong na makapag-offset ng carbon footprint of both people and fuel emissions. So, sa parking naman, gumamit kami ng pavers and grass instead of pure cement dahil malalasan nito yung init na ma-absorb ng concrete dahil may halo itong grass. Next is solar panel. Solar power gives a great return on investment, especially in commercial establishments. So kapag gumamit tayo ng solar energy, consider it as an investment, not an expense. Kasi once na ang commercial solar panels ay nag-paid off, they will reduce the operating expenses of the business, and the business will find that their cost to install the solar project will more than pay for itself over the lifespan of the system. So in short, it controls the future solar energy bills or future energy bills plus low maintenance. We also used vertical wood louvers because they offer protection, shade, privacy, and also aesthetics. So nilagay namin ito sa part ng supermarket para hindi masyadong tagusan yung init since glass yung material na ginamit namin doon.
So moving forward to our next problem statement, which is what appropriate planning should be applied in constructing a building with the application of ecological design features. So since our lot area, our lot size was big enough to handle yung buong complex, at first talaga, yung una naming plano is to adopt yung Ayala concept na kung saan medyo magkakalayo yung mga malls or yung magkakalayo yung mga buildings. But then, inisip namin, masyadong maraming open space yung masasayang na pwedeng paggamitan for parking, di ba? So, we came up with a plan na yung mga malls is i-compact na lang into as one building, but then meron pa ding variety yung bawat building. It can be in sizes, it can be in height, it can be in shapes, na kung saan makikita natin mamaya sa walkthrough kung ano talaga yung magiging plan ng ating complex. So with that, kahit compact siya as one building, we place it in the center ng lot para naman it's surrounded pa din, all sides or all yung lahat ng buildings is surrounded pa din ng greenery and open spaces. Kahit na i-compact as one, nandun pa din yung goal natin to yun nga, magkaroon ng connection between the structure and the nature. So for our next problem statement, what innovations does the building should have to consider for future development? So kahit na nagpaplano tayo in the present, dapat i-consider pa din natin yung future development ng isang building or kahit anumang particular building. So we consider pa din yung future expansion ng commercial complex natin, since hindi malayo na mag-expand siya kasi siya ay commercial complex. Since yung aming lot size is 88,000 square meters, but then almost 50% lang yung nagamit nung lot, and then the rest is inalat namin for greeneries. With that, consider namin yung future expansion nung complex, na kung saan yung mga open spaces na hindi nagamit, pwede siyang paggamitan for the future development. So future development or future expansion yung pinag-uusapan natin. Masasabi natin na may times na hindi siguro makakayanan yung mga supply, yung mga power supply, yung water supply ng mall, di ba? So since ang ating concept is regenerative architecture, we also incorporate innovations like use ng paggamit ng solar panels, rainwater harvesting system, STP or ating sewage treatment plan, na kung saan is mas maleles yung paggastos ng ating complex kasi nagagamit natin yung mga nare-recycle natin yung mga bagay na patapon na, like yung mga rainwater, di ba? And also yung sa sewage treatment plant, yun nga, yung mga used na tubig is nag-undergo siya sa sewage treatment plant, na kung saan is nagagamit pa din natin for other purposes, na kung saan mas maleles yung cost or yung paggastos ng mall, pero it really helps sa pag-develop ng ating commercial complex.
For problem statement 2, considerations of possible approach to be applied in designing a commercial complex near the existing establishments as competitor. Kung ang Nuvali ay may pond as design feature, kami naman as competitor ay naglagay ng mini amusement parks. So ang target namin dito ay mahikayat ang mga users, especially ang kids and teenagers na bumisita sa mall para mag-enjoy. So dito, entertainment and leisure na makakatulong naman sa mental health ng tao para makatakas sa stress.
Problem statement number 3. The effect of the chosen site as the heart of Barangay Carmen with economic growth regardless of being known as undeveloped community. So knowing that the site is the heart of Barangay Carmen, we implemented its strength to the next level by also examining the weaknesses, why it is still an undeveloped community, and turning this with new features within the site with commercial complex, with amusement parks, and with other features that will also boost the investment's return. This will replace the dullness with life and life to the community and making it attractive and waving a sign of development and excitement to the travelers and to the people near the vicinity. The newly Calax Road also gives an opportunity to the project site for the travelers to stop by, and we plan according on how the travelers will respond. and this is by stopping and buying essential things for the travel getaway. We make sure that our planning is comfortable for the users and accessible for buyers in rush and the people living within the community.
In terms of maintaining the purpose algorithm of a commercial complex for the productivity and efficiency of the occupants as per consumer behavior, which is one of our statement of the problems. Our regenerative design concept aims to achieve a considerable good building that involves the consideration of people right from the start and places them at the center of the problem-solving design process. This is where the design or strategic design will enter. The proper zoning of areas that are necessary within the commercial complex were considered, most especially the connections in between spaces inside the building, where the proper public circulation is also considered to attain a strategic design for the benefit of the people at any age. The people's problems, goals, needs, thinking, emotions, and behavior were studied to arrive in particular effective design solutions. From the main entrance of the building, we put entrances from the category or from one category of building to one another where the connection on spaces are visible in the plan to give easier access for the consumers based on their needs and their desires. We applied future-oriented design principles in order to increase an innovative and competitive qualities for the commercial complex.
In designing, we come up with the following design consideration: user and environmental friendly and functional commercial complex, bearing also in mind the PWD and health impact of the users. This also includes security and strategic design for economic growth. By also identifying the location and climate, we come up with a suitable aesthetics that is notable to the travelers. We also consider lesser congestion, making it time efficient for the users.